There are four Gospels in the New Testament: the Gospel of Matthew, the Gospel of Mark, the Gospel of Luke, the Gospel of John. In the four Gospels, almost everybody gives up on Jesus. Almost everybody winds up disappointed with Jesus or disillusioned with Jesus. The Jewish people have been waiting for hundreds of years. They wanted a Messiah. And the way they understood it, that Messiah was going to come in and take charge, but take charge in a way that worked out really nicely for them. That Messiah was going to be a military, political ruler, an alpha. Jesus didn't do that. If you've ever been involved in business, you're familiar with a term called subcontracting. When we subcontract someone, we assign that person a role. Like, here's what I'm doing, here's where we're going, here's the project, here's where you fit in. This is your part right here. This is how we want you to do it, when we want you to do it. We want you to be done by a specific time, etc., etc. And it has a lot of advantages. We can fire the subcontractor, or we can get with the subcontractor and say, yeah, here's in writing what we agreed to, and so far you're not. And so either you do it this way, or we'll find somebody else. It's really tempting to try to subcontract God. Like, God, here's what I'm up to, and here's how you can get in on it. And I think that's what most people wanted from Jesus. Even today, I think there's a lot of that going around. If you're disappointed with God, disillusioned with God, angry at God, I'm not here to judge you. What I'm saying is not meant to judge you. In fact, I really hurt for you if you are disappointed. And in fact, you're in great company, because pretty much everybody in the Gospels were right there with you. But there's another way. In the Gospel of Mark, Jesus is walking on the shores of the Sea of Galilee. He sees Andrew and Simon. They're fiddling with their nets. They're fishermen. And he says to them, this is literally what he says from the Greek New Testament: come, comma, follow me, and I will make you become fishers of men. The word men there is anthropos, and it means men and women. Come, follow me. I lead, you follow. I will make you become something you aren't right now, something you can't possibly envision yourself. Jesus is saying, I want you to get in on what I'm up to. Basically, the realm of God, the reign of God. One heart at a time. And it says they left everything behind and they followed him. Now, they were frequently unsettled because to them, Jesus wasn't following the script, wasn't performing the messianic assigned role. But they sure got it after the resurrection. And I try to live there. My aim, my goal is to always have the perspective of the cross and the empty tomb. Because it really shifts my expectations. In fact, when I live there at the cross and the empty tomb, where Jesus says it is finished, I don't end up being disappointed. I was just saying to somebody recently in a conversation, if we graded God based on God's performance in answering our prayers exactly the way we want them answered in our humanity, what kind of grade would God receive? It depends on how you look at it. If your approach is, God, here's what I'm up to and here's how you can get in on it. If you're subcontracting God, then God's not getting a good grade. God is not receiving a good evaluation of God's performance. In fact, so many times when I have begged God, God has not ended up doing what I was begging God to do. When I live at the cross and the empty tomb, that's okay. My approach from there is, thank you. Because I hear Jesus saying, come follow me, and I will make you become. In fact, it's happening in me. God, what are you up to? And how can I get in on it? I want to remind you that God loves us so much that God accepts us just as we are when we're disappointed, disillusioned, angry. Doesn't matter. God loves us so much that God accepts us just as we are. Like Jesus with Andrew and Simon on the shores of the Sea of Galilee that day. The rest of it is God loves us too much to leave us as we are. And so it is cyclical. We say yes to Jesus with our lives. We say, God, what are you up to and how can I get in on it? And then we may have to say that again 15 minutes later. That's okay. God loves you exactly as you are, with whatever is going on in your life. But by faith, God doesn't leave us there. The cross and the empty tomb is proof enough that God's up to something that is better than life itself. Grace and peace.